Please hang up and try again.
Hey guys, I'm Shelby, and this is Brick on the Wall, a show about all things music, and more importantly, about 239 music. I have Brendan Bennett on here today.
What's up?
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, my pleasure. So, I know you're not actually from here.
Correct.
Where
I was born in Boston, right outside Boston. I moved down to Florida when I was about 4 years old.
Okay, so basically Naples.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I lived in Naples from 4 until now.
Oh, nice. What high school did you go to?
Barron College.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what got you into music?
I had this one older cousin who was like the cool older cousin that was always like doing bad stuff that you're like not supposed to copy. But he was just like super cool, and so he showed me Lil Wayne when I was like 6th grade, and I was just like, holy, like, what is this? You know, this is the sickest thing I've ever seen. And so he kind of became my plug for music because my mom only really listened to like pop music, country music, whatever. So every time I see him, he would just show me like all these new artists, exactly. And I didn't have like the computer, like whatever they were called back then. iPods. And so that was dated. And so he would just be my plug, and then one day I was in like 7th or 8th grade, and he showed me a song that was him and his friends. And they had like put a little like studio in their basement, and I just like, it instantly clicked with me, like I don't have to just be an observer. Like I can contribute to this thing that I love so much. So I used to spend hours on like Rap Genius, like hours hours a day. And so it was really cool. So from then I just started writing, and I wrote for probably like 4 years before I started recording.
Yeah, I mean, that's how most happens. Like how old were you when you actually started making music? I know you said you were like writing and stuff like that, but...
I would say when I first would say that I was making music, I was probably about 17, like right when I started my senior year of high school.
Okay.
I got introduced to a guy by the name of Cappy, who was an incredible producer and engineer. At the time, his studio was in Naples, and I started going there. I met a few people like Nate Traveler, Odarius, Odarius, and then the back house scene, 17th Ave, a bunch of other like Naples artists, and kind of just kept going from there. Like that was when I started making music that I was like,
wow, this could actually be something.
Really, like not terrible.
Yeah. So you started out actually rapping, right?
Yeah, I was like
because now, like, you don't rap. You don't rap at all.
I honestly think I thought I was like Earl Sweatshirt. Like, I really thought I was like the most like deep, like lyrical, like 60-bar verses.
After just like, damn.
Yeah, and then I went back and I was like, wow, this sucks. Because that was the first stuff I brought to the studio. And then I went to record it, and I was like, this is awful. And, like, I don't want to be, like, another, like, awful white rapper. Yeah. Because there's so many of them.
Bad. I feel that,
you got Mac Miller, rest in peace, and that's, like, it.
Still not over his death.
Yeah, no, me neither. We can't talk about it.
I just want to know what you classify your music as. Because people, like, if I ever say your name, they're like, what is it? I'm like, well, I'm like, he's a local artist. He sings, he raps.
It depends, honestly. Like, I change my answer depending on who I'm talking to. Like, if I'm meeting someone and they ask me what kind of music I make, I kind of, like, read their room. Because the thing is, I think people who enjoy pop can enjoy my music. I think people who enjoy rap and hip-hop can enjoy my music. I think even some songs, people who like EDM or a little, chiller house music. Yeah, because it's a mix
of everything.
Yeah, and so I think that, and, like, even, like, R&B, we have, like, Yesterday with Eddie and, like, the end of this love song here. Like, I feel like I try to sneak elements of everything in, so I always try to tell people it's like what they want to hear.
Yeah, so you're like, you look poppy.
Yeah,
like pop,
pop. If it's a white girl to party, like I make pop music. But I hate classifying it. I mean, Eddie Rock's one of my best friends, and he has he said he was watching an interview one time with an NBA analyst, and they were talking about a play on the court, and he said, the thing is, like, positions don't exist in basketball.
Yeah.
Like, we give people positions because it's easier for us to understand the game if we think, like, okay, this person's a center, this person's a point guard, this person's a forward. But they don't actually exist when you're on the court.
The ball's there.
Exactly.
You're not going to be like, no, it's not me.
I have to stay because I'm a point guard, I think it's pretty much the same with music. I think it's easy, if I had to, hip-hop or pop.
Yeah, that's why
that's what I usually
think of it as.
Yeah, but I just don't think genres exist in that way.
Especially when you're independent and you're kind of just like, when you're actually writing, I feel like your actual feelings and your, I don't want to say real about it, but when you're very genuine about it and it's coming straight from you, it's kind of hard to put it.
You're also not sitting there thinking about like, well, I want to
do a pop song. Yeah. You're just like, this is what it is.
Yeah. And a lot of times, like, you get production that inspires you, and I know a lot of amazing producers that do a lot of different things, and so I kind of just go with the flow and let things happen.
So what I guess inspires you the most to write? Like, is it more like because your songs don't seem sad, like, I mean, like, obviously they're not like in minor chords or anything like that,
right.
But like, is it more when you're sad, when you're happy, when you're just, life's complicated, life has shit on you, like?
I think you broke first, by the way. I was trying not to swear.
I know. It came out and I was like, whatever.
So I used to write when I was sad. I would say that was primarily when. Mm-hmm. I think the further I've gone along with it, like, writing just becomes a natural part of your day-to-day. Like, it just feels like not a job and like this sucks, I have to wake up and do this. I love it. But it just feels like...
helps make you, like, keep you sane.
Yeah, like, I need another song, and, and you're it's like, inspiration. Yeah. Sometimes you're like, you happen to be really happy, and you happen to be working on a happy song. Sometimes you're sad, and you happen to be working on a happy song. Like, as a writer, you kind of have to learn to adapt to, like, no matter where you are, you can make the best possible song out of the situation.
Yeah, so with that, my question is, because I personally write songs for that sometimes, but my thing is, do you tend to write parts of a song and then just leave it for, like, months on end? Or are you the type of person that basically you start writing the song and you're like, I need to finish this? Or, like, how does your songwriting process go?
Yeah, I have a really weird songwriting process that honestly changes a lot.
Okay.
Like, based on, like... So, like, my last album, Pop Jackson Love Songs, I wrote a track list before I had any beats. I just wrote, like, I had the ideas for some songs, so I was like, I can't make you happy. I just wrote that down. Insert love song here. Yeah, insert love song here. I just wrote that down because I had the ideas for it. I had no idea I had no physical production.
Okay, so you just came up with that, like, with the titles in your set. The titles first, which is, I've never heard of anything like that. I've never heard of that.
Every time I say that, people look at me like a weirdo.
No, that's awesome. Like, that's awesome. Like, I don't know anyone that could do that.
It has its pros and its cons, because the problem with it is, like, when you have a concept like that, you have it like what you, exactly. So you have what you want it to sound like sonically, what you want it lyrically to be like, and as someone who doesn't, like, produce from scratch myself, I'm never going to get it like 100% how I want it. And so things kind of adapt, and you have to be, like, willing to change things. Like, that whole checklist wasn't exactly what it was when I first wrote it. But all of that, like, once I found a beat that I felt like fit a particular vibe on the track list or something that I needed, it was a pretty quick process. I mean, once I had that, it was just like a day or two. Some of the songs were written in 15 minutes. Insert Love Song Here I did in 10 minutes with my homie Mason. I was like freestyling.
Okay, you. Bye.
And
interview's over.
Yeah, no. But then other songs like took me a long time to write. My Skeletons verse, I sat on that for a long time because we did the Nate session first, and we had that first part of the song, the hook and the verse that I helped him do. And it was a while for me because I wanted to know exactly how I was going to attack it, because I knew that was like a really important song. Same with I Know You Hate Me. That one, I went back because there was like 3 different verses, and they were all written pretty far apart. But for the most part, once I have an idea and I have production behind it, it's a pretty quick process.
Do you think when you rate them like months apart or anything like that, do you think kind of like the vibe of the verse is different because even though it's like months apart, it's like you're at different points of your life?
Yeah, and I think that's why I Know You Hate Me, I have a whole second part. Yeah. That's like a complete, like,
it
switches up and it does that whole thing because it felt with this, it was part of the same concept, and it flowed together very well, and it made sense in context.
Yeah.
But it was emotionally very different than the first 2 verses. And that one was one of the last verses I did on the whole project. And another thing, like Insert Love Song Here, how that switch up happens at the end, that was literally the last thing to be done. It was the last day, and we were like mixing the album. And I was kind of mad because I didn't really have like an interlude that I felt like kind of resonated. Yeah. Like slowed it down a little bit. It was just like really pretty. And we were in the studio, and Eddie was like, I made this song, and he played it, and it was just like a minute and a half, and I was like, dude, like that is gorgeous.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with that? Because
you're like, yo, because I have a perfect place.
And it was very like I didn't intend for that to happen.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it's good when you space things out just because you get movement in a song.
Yeah.
And you just have to do it right. But like some songs, like the main part of Instant Love Song here, if I'd done that a different day, I just feel like it would have been awesome. Some of them need like 3 a.m. Chicago, same day.
Yeah. Some of them you just need to push out. Other times it's like a little baby.
Yeah,
you gotta let it go.
Like let it grow up and find its like way towards the end. Yeah.
Yeah. So also, because I know music's a huge part of your life. Do you do anything besides music, like on the side, like beside like another job or anything, or?
No.
Damn.
Yeah.
Lucky.
I know. It's a new thing.
Because I always wondered that. I didn't know if you like.
Yeah, I was working at Starbucks from when I was like 16, like the day I turned 16, until like the beginning of last summer. And then I left school to like focus on music. And I was doing a little work for a company called Taste of Mockley. I was doing like market research and stuff for them. But now I'm still technically employed there, but I don't.
Yeah. So when you went to college, because I know I suffer this sometimes too, like I sometimes just want to completely drop out and just do something with music or anything like that. I don't know about being an artist, but it's a nice hobby. Did you just were you just doing school and you're just like, this sucks, like I can't, like I don't know, I can't see myself doing anything besides music?
It was a combination of a lot of things. I hated school forever. I didn't want to go to college in the first place. My mom actually kind of tricked me into like, I had a cousin that I was first starting writing music with. Like from pretty much when my older cousin showed me, I like ran to my cousin that was my age and was like, yo, we need to write. So I was writing with him from like 7th grade until like senior year of high school. And so she kind of finessed me, my mom, and was like, you can go visit him for 5 weeks if while you're up there, because he lives in Boston, you tour schools in the area, and I'll pay for you guys to go to DC and Pittsburgh, which are like my 3 favorite cities at the time, Boston, DC, and Pittsburgh.
And like you're not gonna pass that up. You're like, it's just a tour.
I thought I was finessing. I thought I was like I'm not going to college, like fine, I'll go on these little tours. But when I went to the one school that I ended up going to, I was there and I just had this gut feeling. I was like, hey, I kind of actually fuck with this. Like, messed up. I was about it, and I was like, all right, look, like I'll apply here because you're
like, I probably won't get in anyway.
I wasn't supposed to get in, so I was like, here, mom, here's the deal. Like, I'll let the universe take care of it. So I was like, I'll apply, and if I get in and get a scholarship, I'll go.
Damn.
And then I got a scholarship.
Universe,
and so it's funny but it's funny because most people, like kids wait their whole lives and work their asses off to have that moment where they're like, oh my gosh, I got into college and I got a scholarship, and I was kind of like,
you're like, damn it.
Like, I guess I'm gonna do this, but it ended up, I don't regret it at all.
No, it's a good learning experience.
And I ended up meeting like the producer that did like some of my older music that I had with Dom. I met at Tufts, and there was just a lot of things I feel like wouldn't have happened the same musically, even if I hadn't been there.
No, I think everything happens for a reason, so it was definitely like it was meant to be.
And I think that as time went on though, and I got like more ingrained into like college life, and like especially Tufts, the school I went to, people were wild about internships and job and I mean, it was like from freshman year.
It was like a career like school.
Oh, absolutely. Because everyone was going to grad school there or was going to come out making 6 figures, pretty much. So like I was like a philosophy major with no plan, and I was like, okay, I feel like this isn't for me, and the pressure. It shouldn't be there because I don't care about this. Yeah,
exactly. Stuff, like it's different if you were like working for this and like I want this so bad, and you're just like.
And I did like here. I would have, my other path would have been to continue with philosophy and go to law school. And
so that was my next question. Like, so if music was just not a thing, like it became illegal or something, like something bad, it would be like law school, philosophy, all that stuff.
Yeah, I would love to be involved in the entertainment industry, and so it wasn't like I was like completely there for no reason. I had, kind of, but it was like my. You had a path,
but you're like, I guess if I have to, like, form to society, like you would.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna. Not that like the choices are being broke or homeless, or like becoming a lawyer and doing music that way. Like, of course I'm gonna.
Because you can always do it on the side, no matter what you do.
Exactly.
That's the good part. It's not like the whole thing.
That was my mentality, and then the more I went on, the more I was like, yo, I really can't do this.
Yeah.
And, I also watched around the same time, that winter of my sophomore year was when Dom first, he was in jail, but he first started getting the phone calls, Chance the Rapper.
I can't get over his
and he's calling me and Nate when we're in the studio, and he's like, yo, I just talked to Chance the Rapper. And we're just like,
that's insane, because I didn't know that.
No, no one did, because
insane.
I mean, like the Rust.
Wait, like, so he was in jail and Chance called him at jail?
Oh, yeah, they did a video call with him and Pat the Manager. If you look, Pat the Manager is Chance
I know
Manager.
Yeah.
His Twitter, he posted a picture, I can see it.
Oh, actually, I do remember, I saw that. I think, like, Michael retweeted or something, yeah.
And like from there, like the music started spreading, the industry picked it up, Russ got it, Billie Eilish got it.
I saw all that stuff.
And then like RCA flew down to meet him in jail. Like it was ridiculous.
Only Dom though.
It was ridiculous, and only Dom. And so that was happening, and then me and Nate had also been approached by the guy at Dreamville, and we were working a little bit with him for a while, and Nate got approached by DJ Khaled to write. I mean, it was like there was a bunch of crazy shit happening.
It was just like a whole
and
huge
I was
dream.
in school.
So you're like, guys, come on.
Waiting until I was out of class so I could call Nate and see how a session with DJ Khaled was. Like,
stop.
So I was like, all right, this is not where I'm meant to be.
Especially when you see like other people that you used to like make music with all the time, like down there, just like. Like, we're living the dream.
He started making that project on my laptop while he was on house arrest that summer because everyone moved to LA.
Yeah.
So it was really just like me and him. I was the one with a car that was still in Naples. And so it was weird to like be there with him in the most like, this isn't, and nothing's happening. He's on house arrest. Like, we're screwed kind of thing.
Yeah, so you're like, might as well make music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then going back to school, and then here he gets arrested. It was just like, all right, I guess this is over. And then, it's never over with Dom, but when you get the phone call, like, I just talked to Chance the Rapper.
And that's the thing, it's like, with making music, it's such highs and lows all the time. Because sometimes you're just like, you get to the point, why am I doing this? Like, why am I even making this? Like, no one, like, granted, people are listening to you, but, like, no one's listening to me. Like, I'm a failure. But in reality, like, you have all these fans. And then other times you're like, I'm on top of the world. Like, everyone's reposting your music, and you're like, oh my gosh.
It's interesting. I think the main reason the lows happen is because what people don't understand is, like, even with the success that I've had right now, even knowing where Dom is, even seeing where, I've been in label meetings and, all these things, I wake up in the morning at my parents' house. Yeah, and, retweet. I wait until I go to the studio.
It's not like you're in your super cool apartment.
When I go out to eat for lunch, like, it's not like people are walking up to me. I'm checking my bank account. Like, all right, should I get Panera or go to the studio? Like, so but then you look on your phone and you see 47,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. And you're like, I don't know, like, I don't even know 500 people. I feel like. So it's like it's hard to process when you're not seeing it in front of you. Yeah, I mean, it's especially this day of age, it's all on the phones. Yeah. So, like, you, like, because you have a decent following and stuff, too. But that's the thing, even, that's another weird part is, like, you can have a following on Spotify, like I have, but, like, my Twitter, I have, like, 900 Twitter followers. Yeah. So it's weird because it's like, you're not engaging with fans on social media either, really. Yeah. They're just listening to music. They're like almost like closeted listeners, like kind of just like. I mean, I understand it because when I find a new dope artist, like the first thing I'm not reaching out to them. I'm not gonna run to their Instagram or Twitter. Oh my God, I love you, like like I love your work. You're so great. I don't even think to go to people's Instagram or Twitter. I'm just like, oh, this is dope. Yeah. And so, like, I understand it completely, and I would rather people listen to my music than follow me on social media. Honestly, What, to see me tweet stupid shit. And honestly, it's just insane to me because music like that is just so raw, and it's because I don't really I don't like to perform any of my personal music, anything like that. It's just so vulnerable is the word I should say. Like, it's just, and I give you like huge props because like anyone that makes their own music and just it's like, hey, this is this. It's basically like, here's my diary. Please read. With most of the songs I was doing early in my when I started recording, it was a lot of like really pop music, and so it wasn't. It never was like really more fillers and stuff. Yeah. When I dropped my last album, I knew it was going to be a problem when I did an interview with Bugsy Laveau before my album dropped, and I'd sent him the album like a week in advance, so he had time to like kind of prepare questions. And within like 3 minutes of the interview, he looked at me. He's like, "Yo, like I want to dive in." are you okay? And I was just like, oh man, that's an interesting question. So that was definitely the first time that project, and especially certain songs.
Yeah.
Are just like.
Well, yeah, because some of your songs, I'm just like, wow, like if you actually sit down and just listen to them, it's just like.
Yeah. Like if you read along with the lyrics, because that's the thing, like you said, I purposely try to keep everything in major keys.
Exactly,
keep,
yeah.
Like, happy chord progressions, pop chord progressions, but sometimes you just have stuff to say.
And when people are just listening to it, and I feel like a lot of times, sometimes people are not artists. They don't catch it, but even artists do.
I don't care if people catch it. Don't get me wrong.
No.
I make music for.
Oh yeah.
I don't care if it's just in the background.
So you.
Party. But it's interesting because when people do sit and listen too closely, they kind of look at you like.
For like, damn.
Oh, I didn't know this about you. Yeah, and you're just like, whoa, it's just a song. It's just a song.
Yeah. So do you write music more for you, for other people, a mix? I mean, you kind of just like let everything out.
I don't really go. I'll say this. I don't really go into the studio thinking like
I'm making.
I need this for them, or I need this for me. It's just it just becomes such a part of your. Yeah, and so like and I mean any good writer draws in any medium draws from their own experience.
Yeah.
In some regard, even when you're writing fiction, like fantasy fiction.
Yeah, you still there's some truth there. Yeah.
And feelings that you're feeling on certain characters and you know, something like that. So, I mean, some songs I relate to on a deep level more than others, and I guess you could say those ones are more like written for me.
Yeah.
But I don't really think like that.
Yeah.
Because like I've had people hit me up about like some of my most poppy, ridiculous songs to be like, oh, like whenever I'm in a bad mood, I just play this song and it makes me happy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I'm not like that because when I'm sad, I listen to sad music.
Straight sad music.
Like
let me cry for an hour, please.
A pop song while I'm sad.
If I'm in a bad mood, I need to be in a bad mood and let it happen.
Yeah,
because it's just gonna keep building and building. Like, go for a drive.
So like, how am I to say that like a happy song is not important
just for
other people? You know, because so I just make music.
I feel that. Amen.
Yeah. I don't know.
And if you, so let's say tomorrow you wake up and I'm kidding. Let's say tomorrow you wake up and one of your songs is #1 on Billboard. Like, what would you do? Speechless. There you go. I've had things happen to me where I wake up to a certain email or a certain phone call or text message. And you just like have to like pinch yourself and be like, am I...
It just doesn't seem like it's just words on a screen. Like I honestly think if I saw like my song was #1 on Spotify, I'd be like, yeah, I'll see it when I see it. Like I don't believe it. You know, I would have a hard time even now.
Like
I
it's
wake
Photoshop.
Up, like I said, like when I see the 47,000 listeners, I'm just like, okay, but like how many people is that really? Like how many? So I don't know what I would do. I would probably cry eventually.
Really?
And like maybe try to buy my mom a house. Maybe if I like had enough money to do that.
Buy yourself a place and then your mom. Buy your mom and then because it's Christy, right?
Christy.
Shout out Christy. She was getting it down at your show. I was like,
dope.
I want to be her friend.
Yeah.
Like straight up.
No, she's awesome.
Like, I wish. Yeah. Do you have a name for your following?
Oh no.
Okay,
God.
I didn't think you did, but like.
I hope I never do.
I'm gonna laugh. Wow, in like 10 years, it's gonna be like.
Don't even put it out into the. I don't even want to know what my fan base name would be.
It's gonna be like the Beneficials. Bennett. I don't know, something like that. Just wait.
Yeah, no. I'll
copyright it.
I don't want to offend any like fan base.
Like
but I just.
Well, like the name
makes it sound worse than it is.
Well, the thing is too. That's no matter if you, unless you you hashtagged it one in the future and you're like, oh, it's from them.
Really get to choose.
But you don't choose. Believers. Yeah. That was a whole other thing. Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of any other fan base names right now, but. Yeah, it's just a whole different thing.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. I don't know if I'd be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
But we'll see, I guess.
And
you can't be mad.
Yeah, no, you're just damn, I'm
people
not
like
big.
You that much that they're creating a identity.
Watch, it's gonna be the worst name ever.
Oh, it's gonna be so bad. I already know it's gonna be so bad. So bad.
I never actually like thought about that though until I made that question.
I've thought about it a couple times, and I've had friends like joke about it and come up with nicknames. And
I'm gonna message you like in a week and be like, "Ha, this is the one."
I'll block you.
Okay. Well, and how when you're making music, like obviously you make music a lot. Well, first of all, like how often would you say you make music?
I don't
And like out of all the music, do you make do you post all like do you produce all of them the half time that you're like how does that work?
I definitely have more like unreleased stuff or at least ideas that I record. No, because that's the thing. Like I fully believe in like the quality over quantity thing.
Oh no, for sure.
Anything that I don't put out because I don't like it.
Yeah.
And like there's songs that might be better than certain other songs that I have. But as far as like that style and the elements I incorporated, I just know I've done it better or could do it better.
Okay.
So I just kind of leave it alone. A lot of times that happens like when I'm trying out new sounds and trying new
just experience.
Just ideas, Like I'll come up with something really dope, but I'm like, okay.
And you never know how it's gonna turn out. It could
sometimes I
you could be like, this is
like,
gonna be the best, and then it's just like
it's terrible.
flops.
And sometimes you're like, oh, I just have this stupid idea.
Yeah, I guess
like,
I'll try. And then you're like, that's a bop.
Yeah, this is dope.
Yeah.
So I just kind of, but I when I was like making pop tracks and love songs, I was in the studio like multiple times a week, like all the time.
Yeah.
Like a lot. After that album, I didn't really go in. Like I went in like once every 2 weeks just to like lay some ideas down and see.
So you weren't like
lately I've been like back in there again like every day.
Yeah. So any new albums coming out? I have to ask it for the fans.
Yes, I'm gonna drop another album this summer.
Oh hell yeah! Summer jams, people.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. We have another single coming out at the end of March.
Don't do this to me.
Big feature on it, and it's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
All right. Yeah. And then you're gonna go on tour too, I saw.
Yeah, so for the month of May and April, April and May, I'll be on the road.
Damn, like where?
Everywhere. We're starting in South Carolina. I know we're going through like Texas, up through Colorado, Iowa, Chicago, back around to like the more East Coast, New York, DC.
Damn, good for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
I'm so excited for you. Damn.
It's gonna be awesome.
You can have like at least like a day or two because you're driving, correct?
Yeah, so we try to schedule like 3 days in between performance. So
not the rockstar level yet.
No, I
can't do it every night after. Yeah, I don't blame you. Dang.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Damn, yeah, that sounds so like dope. And then also, so I know you collab a lot with people.
Yeah.
So, because I know like basically, so also I want to talk about the Gold Coast Collective.
Yeah.
So can you explain what that is for people who do not know?
Yeah, so at its technical core, it is a management team based out of Chicago, run by Ethan Larson and Nick Kang.
Yes.
Dopest people on the planet. But they really have a vision that it's more just anything artist related, anything that relates to artist services, publishing, the legal side. I mean, they just love music. They love the music industry.
Want people to grow.
I just want to watch people grow. People that they love. And, and that's the really cool thing about them is it's really rooted in love of music and love of people.
And that's the best type.
Yeah, and that embodies everything I want. Me and Eddie had a conversation today. We're adding a few people on our lineup within the next couple months, and we're just so happy with who we're adding because they are those people that you just love to be around, but are also so ridiculously talented. So, and that's where the collective comes from, is instead of Gold Coast management, we want to be known as a team. Yeah,
for sure. And that's what everyone thinks of. Like, I was showing my advisor today. She's like, so who are you having on? I was like, oh, Brendan Bennett. And I had a song playing. I forget what song I ended up playing. I don't know what it was. It was one of them. And she's like, oh, like, so I say, I'm like, no, this is Eddie. And this is Brennan, and this is Eddie, and she's like, I'm so confused right now. I'm like, they just collapsed. She's like, why? I'm like, because it's a whole collective.
Yeah.
Like,
no, exactly, and that's what we want.
You guys bounce off each other, and it's just because you're a huge family, and like you all have these amazing ideas, and like even if you were to do just one like amazing idea, like putting all of your amazing ideas together makes this like just
because that's my biggest thing with collaboration in general. I used to get ridiculed because I did too much collaboration.
They think that you can't. They're like, oh, you can't do anything. You need some like a crutch.
Yeah. Which
Look up the songs, people.
I'm not going to get into like who wrote what or whatnot, but I will say that I just was around some of the most talented individuals, and I just love music. Period. If someone could do something better than me, I'm gonna have them do it.
No, honestly,
and so that was my mentality, especially like in the beginning, and so that's why Ben Chandler, Dom, Nate, in particular, I mean, they were all over my songs, and you know, I have the title of executive producer with what I do a lot with Nate and Eddie. You know, because of my ability to arrange songs, to know who fits where, and
because you know your whole team.
Yeah, and like the down from the songwriting to the literal like production arrangement and how transitions should go, and I mean, there's a lot that goes into that kind of stuff that I was creating, you know, landscapes, and so for people, you know, it's hard to make a name for yourself when you have 3 other people on your song. So, you know, I started doing things more individually, but when I can collaborate, you know, I find that, and I want it to be perfect. I want it to be the perfect song for the perfect person. Happened organically. It happened. You know, I don't like emailing people songs and having them send me back verses. I've never done that.
No, because that's like, I feel like when you're doing like when you guys are together, because you guys are always in the studio together, like almost
pretty
always.
much, yeah.
So you could be like, hey, this is an idea, instead of being like emailing back, hey, this word, I think we should change this.
Yeah, and
thanks.
And you just sat in the studio by yourself, made a whole song, sent it to someone. They don't know your video. They don't know what you did to do it.
No people to hype you up there and be like, hey, like that sounded awesome, or like you're just like, oh, I think this sounds good.
The music making process should be fun. At the end of the day. Like I'd rather do it with my friends and be holy shit, how'd you do like that? Was crazy. How'd you think of that? Like stuff like that. So I mean, I'm really honored to have the people around me that I have nowadays. I've been working a lot with, especially projects and love songs onward. I've been working a lot with Wonder Why, amazing producer and vocalist, Saya, amazing producer, Chris Catlin, a crazy vocalist, and then as always, Cappy, Eddie, and Nate.
That's what I commend about you too, because you always, if anyone asks you like, oh, like what is this song, blah blah blah, like who wrote this, and you're just like, well, it's just it's a collective, and that's what it was. But like, I commend you. You're not like, well, this verse I wrote this. I like. It's at the end of the day, it was a good song. It's a good track.
Exactly. People have too much egos. I know because I sat in the studio. I know what I contributed, and people who were there also know what I did, and they respect me for that. And I don't really need anything besides that. Besides that, if for a listener, I just want to make dope music, and I'm gonna give credit where credit's due.
Exactly.
You know, I had one for an intro love song here. We were at my house, and I had the guitar loop, and I had him put drums over it so I could freestyle. And I ended up writing that song in like 10 minutes there. We didn't use any of his production, but I gave the production credits. I gave him percentages. I remember, because I'm like,
you took your time to help me.
You're a part of this song. Yeah, you are a part of the process of this song. And so I always want to, I mean, I feel like Brendan Bennett is a band.
I know, honestly,
Just because of, I mean, nothing I could do, nothing I do is possible without people like Cappy, Wonder, Saya, Eddie, Nate.
Yeah, honestly, like, I mean, I'm born and raised 239, like, been here my whole life, but, like, it's just insane, like, because Michael Mulgavero, shout out Michael, he'll cry when he sees this.
Homie.
He's the one that, one day I was in his car, and he just, like, was playing, I don't remember who he was playing, I think it was, like, maybe Nate or something, probably because Nate went to Astero with us, and, he was just like, I'm like, wow, he's like, oh, bet, plays his whole 239 playlist, and I was like, oh my god, like this is so amazing.
He's a really ride or die, man. Shout out to him. If he
lived here, he would be doing this show with me 100%. He's like, I wish I could have made it tonight.